I'll be doing someone's makeup and they'll start to look up at me and I'm like, oh no. And they'll say, wow, our eyes are really starting to go, aren't they? And I'm like, I literally will just
Someone said that?
dramatically. Oh, I've had a lot of people say that.
Yeah, we've lost some time.
Hi, and welcome to Flawsome Talk, the podcast. I'm Kersti Flaw, journalist, Hollywood troublemaker, and your favorite voice of reason in a town built on delusion. Each week, I unpack the madness, the hypocrisy, and other things that I find infuriating or fascinating about celebrity culture. So let's get into it. Today's guest, I've had her on before, and everyone loved her so much, and we kept in touch. Her name is Beth York. And she's worked in Hollywood for many, many years as a makeup artist. She's met everyone. She's been doing every award show. And she's shared already some of her celebrity stories with you guys. She shared a horrific experience she had with Sharon Stone. I will leave a link to that episode below if you missed that. I really adore her. She's amazing. But in this episode, we're going to talk more about Hollywood beauty standards and why we think they are absolutely insane. This is Beth York. Beth, it's so lovely to see you again. Thank you so much for being on Flawsome Talk for the second time.
Thank you. And as I was just saying, I am like your number one fan. So I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, this is amazing. So thank you.
Oh, so we had a great conversation last time. You were talking about some of your experiences working in Hollywood because you are a makeup artist and you worked in Hollywood for many years and have some interesting experiences with that. Some good, some bad, some
ugly. Yeah.
Some ugly. And lately I've been talking a lot on my channel about beauty standards and what frustrates me about it, especially because we are expected to look like we're 30 years old for the rest of our lives, probably.
Yes.
Basically.
So
and then,
yeah.
And then pretend like we're not doing nothing to achieve that. And then, people end up looking like aliens. I mean, what do you think?
Well, it's really sad is what I think. I posted something on Instagram recently that was like, be an original in a world of, and it didn't say Kardashians, but there was 25 women that all looked exactly the same. And it's like just individuality has been completely wiped out. And, I think when you're younger and you see your whole peer group doing it, like we'll say like the Kylie's type of age range, like I can almost give them a pass. But, when you get older, to me, I just see it as such a sign of desperation. It makes me really sad. And, especially like here in Scottsdale, like the BLMs are a big deal. Is that what it's called? The butt lifts, whatever.
Oh, is it called BLM?
BB.
Butt lift.
BB. It's a BB. BBL? Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I just think, what type of a man are you attracting? And, that's the biggest thing, is who is the audience for all of these, these procedures. And for women that actually know who they are, that actually either have a man that already loves them or wants to attract a man that loves them for who they are. Personally, I would rather be single than ascribe to that. And it also makes you very disposable, and replaceable, because those attributes all can be bought. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so sad. And I think also, especially when you're talking about young women, I feel like when they're doing all these procedures when they're so young, some of them, they can't, when you start putting things in your lips when you're in your 20s and they just get bigger and bigger and you have to fill in more and more and more. And finally, you just have to do surgery to kind of just make everything, not drop. Because I've seen those lips that just fall further and further down so that you can't see the teeth anymore.
You can see them from the side coming. Yeah.
And then one day, you don't want those lips anymore and then you can't remove it. I remember that with, what's her name? That Real Housewife in Beverly Hills who said she regretted it.
Yeah.
Lisa
Rinna. Oh my gosh.
Rinna's,
yeah. Queen of lips.
Yeah. So what is your experience working with these actresses, do they ever talk to you about these things, or did they?
The main thing that I found interesting because, I told you I work there, or I don't know if I told you, I had it on my podcast and I have a new book coming out and I tell my whole story, how I did go over to LA. I work for Jose Bear on Rodeo Drive and I was exposed to all of this like in my early 20s, and I just was blown away. I just felt like there was no soul there. And again, then I came back, opened my spas, but I always went in and out. And I did all this like MB York ambushes, Hollywood, and all my advertising. And I had so many celebrities. So I was always doing Oscars, Emmys, Golden Globes, all of the things. But usually what would happen is I would go there and my jaw would be on the ground of the reality, and then I still came back and like smiled like it's all great because it's really sad as far as the women go. There's a vast array, like I think we talked about last time, like any type of people, but most of them I found were very clueless, like about anything to do with their makeup. Like they've always had it done for them, and they're just completely clueless. And obviously, their program is desperation because they are so easily replaced and it's such high
No.
stakes, to keep their jobs and always somebody younger coming up. And so I just think, it hardens their exterior, and when they're in that world, you can't get out of it unscathed. I did it briefly. I was in like 4 movies and I did some of the modeling stuff and I just hated it, all the rejection. I was like, I want to be in control of my life. Like I can't sit here and line up behind 100 other girls and hope, wish, want, and wonder. I'm like, I'm going to create my life. And I just think, again, it's a city of like lost souls, and it attracts wounded people a lot, because
Wow.
they want that validation. There's even a book out there that talks about most of the women in Hollywood have like unresolved daddy issues, and they just want all of this adoration, to fill that hole inside of them. So I would
Very
think
well said. Yeah.
plastic
Yeah.
surgery would go really well hand in hand. You know, they don't have that sense of self that can say, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm not judging people that do minor things or something really bothers them. Like, go do it. I'm not like against it per se. But again, you're going under anesthesia. You can die. If you have children or people that love you, I would hope my husband would be like, you're not doing that, instead
Yeah.
of, oh, let's go
And
get
I,
this enhanced.
what upsets me about it all is that it's celebrated as beauty. And like, look,
Right.
she's so beautiful. Look, she's 50. She looks so beautiful. She's 60. Look at her. She looks ageless. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not attainable. And it doesn't
Well, and
look like they're younger. They just look like they had a lot of work done. Don't you
yeah,
think?
and we're being sold to this by design. And we talked last week about a lot of the stories circulating around, about how, in Hollywood, Jennifer Lawrence is playing a 39-year-old when she's 19 or 20, and that they just erase women after the age of like 24, and like the 30-year-olds are playing grandmothers, and like it's so skewed that if you're in that culture of watching these shows and movies, and then really getting reeled into like the housewives shows and all of that, like I never have. And I see the appeal, if it's mindless, if you're going to listen to like the Kardashians or whoever, but when you see these people that have, for the most part, very selfish lives, very superficial, and are they doing anything that's good for the world? Is there anything of value inside of them as a person, and our whole society is just like clapping and throwing popcorn in the air, celebrating, yay, more plastic surgery, more toxic relationships. So my new podcast, and not to go segue right into that, but I talk a lot about unhooking from society's toxic traps. And I want to say to you super quick, because you deserve to be celebrated. And I was listening to your podcast, I believe it was this morning. You probably filmed it a few days ago. I don't know, but you were just saying how down you've been feeling because you're taking on the weight of like really standing up for people as a whole. And you've said it so many times, this is about our free speech. This is about a lot more things than all of the journalists that are being attacked right now. And I feel like your divine mission is to do this, and it's not easy. And so I applaud you, because you have such a great following, and they're like-minded people that are just so happy to find someone, myself included. That's why I watch you every single day. Someone that consistently speaks the truth. You just call it all out, and society needs that. So you're doing your mission. So not everyone is on their mission, but you're fulfilled, because even though it's hard, it feeds your soul. Like, you have a purpose. And that's the difference between you and most of these women in Hollywood
You're
running in the
very
bathing
sweet.
suit. And,
Thank you for saying that. I just wanted to quickly jump in here and thank the sponsor of this video, Honey Love. I've spoken about this brand before because I do love them so much. So this is not your average shapewear. I've tried a lot of them, and Honey Love, I have to tell you, it's a game changer. First of all, it's incredibly soft. I was a little worried because I always wear underwired bras. This doesn't have a wire, but it just lifts and feels so good on your body. And as I said, it's so soft. I also love the little details. I've been using it even on the beach here in Spain, and as a sports bra, and underneath my t-shirts as well. The support is just amazing, and you don't have to keep adjusting it all day like sometimes I have to do with other bras. And it fits so perfectly. And their actual shapewear is just amazing. It hugs in all the right places, and it doesn't make you feel suffocated. And it never rolls up or rolls down. It even has a bathroom opening, you guys. Also, another thing that I really like is that Honey Love is female founded and is actually worn by the people who founded the company. Their new Cloud Embrace bra feels like wearing a cloud, and it will sell out again. So grab it while you can. So treat yourself to the most advanced shapewear and bras on the market. You can save 20% off at honeylove.com/Flaw, Flaa, my last name. That's honeylove.com/Flaw. Support my channel and let them know that I sent you. So thank you to Honey Love, and let's get back to Mary Beth. I did have a
It's true.
podcast episode on Friday where I talked about women, our age and older, that are running around in their bikinis on Instagram looking for validation,
Yeah.
and calling it liberation and calling it
Yeah.
to be free. Well, I think
Hmm.
the opposite is the fact. But let me ask you something personal.
Hmm.
How do you deal with aging? Because for me, I find it challenging. I have to be completely honest. I go one
Yeah.
day and I'm like, oh my God, who is that person? When I look myself in the
Yeah.
mirror, because I feel like someone else inside. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I should do something like that. That looks so
Yeah.
great. I have a friend who did a facelift. I'm like, oh, if I do
You
this,
better
that's going to
not.
look
You
nice.
don't.
You know?
No.
So
Yeah.
how do you deal with these voices in your head when
Well,
you're
I
like,
just want to
or
start
do you
by
have them?
saying that at the age of 19, I started doing makeup. And, I was for many years doing 10, 15 women a day. And I would hear over and over and over and over and over, just you wait. Like, every woman was so negative about just how stressed they were about aging. And I decided then I will never be that way. And I'm not. Like, I've stuck to it. And one of the ways is I kind of like live in my Barbie bubble. Like, what you think of me is not my business. Like, I'm good. And again, there's like right now, I have zero Botox, zero fillers. I think somebody maybe puts a friend
You
of
look
mine that's a
amazing.
nurse,
I just have to
something.
put it out there. You do look
Well,
really
thank you.
amazing
I've done
and
some
healthy.
microneedling recently, which that definitely works. And I'm not saying I'll never do it again, but I personally like to start to feel convicted, and I want to be I don't want to be a phony, but I also think if you admit it, it's a little bit better. I'm not saying I'll never do that again. Like, we don't know what 5, 10 years is going to bring. And I don't think it's fun for anyone to feel like you're decaying, But so two other things. One is I don't accept other people's negative affirmations. And I've talked about this before too, where I'll be doing someone's makeup and they'll start to look up at me. And I'm like, oh no, here it comes. Cause they're going to make some kind of comparison. I'm like, this is about you. Don't start talking about me. And they'll say, wow, our eyes are really starting to go, aren't they? And I'm like, I literally, well, just
Someone said that?
dramatically. Oh, I've had a lot of people say that. Like they try to bring me into their club of decline. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, yours may be, mine aren't. Like, leave me out of your negative affirmations. And I make it a joke, but like, I'm serious too. So I have very strong beliefs in terms of like, if you expect something, it's going to happen. Certain, elements are what's the word, inevitable. But I feel like if you are healthy, I was just listening to another podcast on this morning because I've been sick and I missed a whole week of like my Orange Theory. But if you're working out and I do the red light sauna, hot works workouts, like if you know your body and you eat healthy, like I'm vegetarian and I'm not perfect, but I plow myself with good things. And if I do something bad, drink too much wine, which isn't often, I'll plow myself with green juices the next day to like undo it. And so I think the difference in aging for people in terms of people that are healthy and people that aren't, there's a big, huge range. And I just think the plastic surgery part, again, I think if you're in your 70s, you're healthy, and you have thick skin that you've maintained in a really good way, and you want to have something pulled back and it makes you feel better, like do it. But this whole trend of like everyone trying to look like the same person and
Yeah.
being told through society that this is what's beautiful, men don't like it. I mean, some do, I guess. But, when
Yeah,
I
I
did
wonder what
that
it's like to
post,
kiss those lips. I'm going to show
yeah,
the clip that I showed you before we started this, which
yeah,
is Jamie Lee Curtis in The
Jamie Lee, yeah,
Guardian.
I've met
Actually
Jamie.
posts, yeah, me too.
Hmm.
She is a firecracker.
Yes.
She doesn't care what people think about her. And I think it's so refreshing. So what was your meeting like with her? What did you think about her?
Well, I got called onto this set to do, and it was funny because it was just out of the blue. I was in Malibu, like shopping with my daughter on vacation, and this makeup artist called and was like, "You need to come do your beauty ammo on all these celebrities." So I came, and we didn't know who was going to be there, and it was Jamie Lee Curtis, Jane Lynch, the whole cast of Glee, Martin Sheen, Kevin Bacon, Brad Pitt, George Clooney. It was unbelievable.
Oh,
But I
wow.
had to do my beauty ammo on all of them before the makeup team did the makeup. And she just is, again, a nice person. Like people that have confidence, they don't throw around attitudes, people that know who they are. It's a completely different vibe than insecure people that are built on a false persona. So I thought she was amazing. She's been calling this out for years and years and years, body positivity and same, like I think Jane Lynch is the same too. She's very much about, being natural, Again, there's a difference, the women that know who
Yeah.
they are.
And I think also something I spoke about on my channel as well is that when you see these people acting on screen, if
Yeah,
they
it's
have all this stuff
distracting.
done, like Nicole Kidman, I can't
Yeah.
focus on anything else but just her face looking so
Yeah.
fake. And it's like I
Yeah,
don't
you feel
believe her
like you're being
characters.
tricked or, sold a false thing. It's distracting, and I think when you see somebody that has like normal expression line, like you can go, wow, she's a great actress, Like
Mm,
there's a correlation
yeah.
between women that aren't, faking their age or their whatever, by just showing up with what they look like.
Yeah, I think when you look fake, I don't believe the character, basically. Or she
Right.
could play someone like upper
Yeah.
class, someone somewhere that looks like that, but she can't play someone like a working class. woman
Yeah.
anymore looking like that, because no one looks like that when they're like a working class or like, not super rich Hollywood stars. So yeah.
Yeah.
Were you the one who sent me, or did I send you the Ashley Judd thing? Did you send
I
that
think
to
I
me?
sent it to you, which that was
Yeah,
amazing. We loved that.
that
We
was
were like,
great.
I
So
know, like
Ashley
actually
Judd,
getting your hair wet. And like,
yes.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I am a member of the We Don't Care Club. Oh, I probably have cellulite, I don't care. And I got hungry bum, and I don't care. And when I'm in my swimsuit, sometimes I get a little chafing, like right down there, so I put on cornstarch.
She's a member of the
yeah,
We Don't Care Club. I feel like I do care. I mean, so do
right.
you. We do
Hmm.
care. And there are
Hmm.
things to do to make you feel great about yourself
Hmm.
without destroying your face or
Makeup,
make exactly.
makes you look
So,
a lot younger.
yes. So can you give us some like tricks? Because I've been watching some like Instagram videos about how, you should put makeup on differently when your face is aging, and you should think differently when you put makeup on. Do you have
Yeah.
like three go-to tricks that
I'll grab
works?
one thing. I will tell you, like, again, I told you I started this when I was 19, and my clients were always like 40 and up. I was in an area with like a lot of country clubs. And so my challenge always was getting their skin to look as good as you can, because the problem is the makeup makes everything look worse. And like I always say, there's just way too many ways to get it wrong out there. If I randomly go, and I did an infomercial once where I went to Target and just randomly bought like 4 concealers, and you can't test them out first. And like it was harrowing how bad it made you look, because if it's too light, if it's too chalky, like it can age you by 10 years. I'm not joking. And so when I do my little 5-minute makeup touch up, and I mean it is 5 minutes, every woman freaks out because I make them look younger. And it's, with a couple things, I'll tell you super quickly, my Lift and Snap serum, this just photoshops all the lines, and it's all natural, totally hypoallergenic and all of that. But it has an ingredient, arginine, that instantly firms and tightens. And then over the months, it does a lot of other things, like it helps brown spots, fine lines. It's just having the right stuff underneath, the right moisturizer. Like I have a little trio that comes with this in my Unpack Your Bags eye gel. My moisturizer is the same ingredient deck as $385 department store brand. I won't say which, but mine is 48, or I'm going to do specials for Blossom regardless, but I do 160 for that set. But again, you put it on and every woman buys it. I always put it aside before I even do their makeup, because I know they're going to want it, because instantly everything is plumped up. And then you could do very little makeup. You can just do a light tinted primer. People don't want a lot of foundation and stuff. A couple shimmer sticks, and I talked before about my beauty ammo kit when I was on with you the first time, and
Yeah.
that's what I got called to go on for Brad Pitt and all those people. But it's just a little plumping priming for under the eyes or above the lip. It works great too. It's a leave-on collagen mask, a line putty, which is like a spackle, and then my concealer, which is color adjusting, but it's very hydrating. And even if you just did my concealer alone, I have a special that I just did for my news anchor friend who was on. This is like the Get Camera Ready special, which is the Lift and Snap serum with the concealer, because she swears by both. Just the right formulas. And I know it sounds like a commercial, but it's just so important, because again, try going into Sephora or wherever and
I
starting to
know.
put
It's
stuff on.
so overwhelming.
And I'll say the littlest variation in a color can be the difference between amazing and disaster. So it's really getting into that great zone of what you need. And I just know that because I've worked on so many people. So, and I get the feedback over and over and over. I don't do harsh makeup. Like I did an event once at Henry Bendel in New York, and the New York women, they all wear this dark brown lipstick and they have all these
Oh,
lip lines and they're angry. And it's just like, I'm just like, oh, soften it up.
Yeah.
try
I
smiling
think
with
that's
it.
definitely one thing that I feel as well. When the older we get, the less, the less makeup I want to put on. So it feels like, especially in the eyes and the lips, it just feels like so heavy, and it ages us, like you're saying,
Yeah.
when you
Well, and
have
there's
too
so
much
many
on.
formulas out there too that, there's a lot of room. If you've had two or three bad experiences, you're going to be like, I just hate foundation. But there may be one that you would really like. So again, but it's trial and error. So depends. Most women give up, and I've just found most women that I work on, they either have one thing that they've done for 30 years, where it's the same, or they don't do anything. They do very little because they're like, they don't know how. They do feel like it makes it look worse because they haven't found that little formula that tweaks everything and that's easy. So,
And I
yeah.
think the way the skin looks, even, having little lines, I don't think that ages people.
Yeah.
But when the skin gets saggy, of course, that doesn't feel great. But
Right.
if your skin is even and
Mhm.
nice, that looks healthy,
Yeah.
that's always my goal. I've done
Hmm.
Botox. I usually did it between my eyebrows
Hmm.
before a lot, and now I realize I like it so much more when my eyebrows can do like all these weird
You do
things
this
because
one
it's hard.
eyebrow
I
thing,
do this.
which is great. I
It's
love
funny
your one eyebrow goes up.
I started doing that. It was so funny. This happened in my teenage years because me and my girlfriends, we were talking about how this was like so like charming to be able to do that with one eyebrow. I can only do it on this one. And then
I love it.
I practiced it so much. I was like, I want to do that with one eyebrow. And then it just stuck. And then now I do it without even thinking about it. And then I'm
That's
trying. Yeah.
hilarious. It's funny,
So,
I noticed and I love it.
yeah.
Love the one eyebrow. It's true. That's so cute.
I remember when I did Botox in my forehead, and
Mhm.
it kind of pushed my
It
eyebrows
drops.
down.
Yeah, you got to be so careful.
And that
If
was
I do
not
it,
a
I'm
good
like,
look.
stay way up high, and then people get that Spock eye.
Yeah.
I do use a little at-home galvanic device, and to be honest, like I did use it last night, I think, when I know I'm going to do something on camera, and it does, like my brows are lifted. I'm looking right now, and it's from that. Like I've not
What
had an
is
eye
that?
lift or it's a nut for another day. You can't even buy it anymore. I'm trying to find my own source for it so I can sell them. It's just a little handheld device and it uses galvanic current. And I found out about it on the set of Dancing with the Stars and I sold so many of them. We used to have TV segments where they would call in live from the set. It was a new skin thing. And so I hated that it was multi-level, but then on top of it, they'd since discontinued it, but it's one of my beauty secrets that I use religiously twice a week. It works. It irons out wrinkles, it lifts and holds. So I need to find one so everyone can have access.
Yes, we should all have
Yeah.
access to that
Yeah.
for sure.
It's true.
All right, let
Well,
me
it's
see what.
easy and natural.
So, do you think? Because I was thinking when you sent me that email with how actresses are, it's going to like younger actresses having to play older
Yeah.
characters.
Hmm.
And I remember a few years ago, there was so much talk about older women, like women, middle-aged women, not being
Yeah.
able to get parts in Hollywood.
Hmm.
But I do think that it has changed a little bit because, especially
Hmm.
for TV, maybe
Yeah.
in movies, it usually just goes to Nicole Kidman. But on
Yeah.
TV, on
Hmm.
TV, I feel like there's more diversity amongst age. Do you feel that it has changed a little bit from from
To
you
be
starting?
honest, I don't watch TV. I've not had TV in like 4 or 5 years, and I'm so picky with movies. Like there's so few I'll even go see. But I
Good
just
for
think
you.
that there's probably it's true. I'm a highly sensitive person, and like when I start seeing violence, I can't even watch it. I have to get up and leave. And I feel like most movies, even if there is a good plot or whatever, like the last 15 minutes, everything has to get so next level ridiculous. I was like, could you not have tied this up a little bit easier than, let's kill seven more people and blow up 10 more cars? It's just
Oh,
not my thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like too, maybe with Netflix and all the other, there's so much content now, ways to bring your content to the screen. And that there are more opportunities, for people that we're not the only ones, obviously, that feel this way. And so, yeah, I feel like maybe there is more diversity, but it's just, oh, one last thing I wanted to mention too. Did you see the article on how Vogue is using the AI models?
Yes, I was going to talk about that. My
Oh,
gosh.
I mean, doesn't it just cheapen it all? You feel like they're faking it. Like, where did this, is this like from an airplane in Japan? Like, what even is this? Like,
I was so shocked, and I was pretty shocked when I saw the interview with the two women who actually
mhm.
created the
Yeah,
campaign.
they were like
Because
24 years old. And
yeah,
is
and it
that
was a
it?
campaign for, who was it? Was it Guess?
It was
Uh,
Guess. Yeah.
yeah.
And they
And
said it
they,
saved them money. And even though it cost like six figures, it saved them money to do it
wow, it
AI.
cost that much? Wow.
Yes. They said if you have any idea how hard it was to create this girl and blah, 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 it's like, wow, they
And
could
it was
easily
interesting.
just
Yeah. And then they said, because the other models were interviewed, and one of them was a plus size, and she was like, well, where's the diversity? And they were like, AI isn't that advanced yet, so we can't make anyone look
horrible.
bigger, or even, have any other ethnicity.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't like make any black models or anything like
Yeah.
that either, because, and I was like, wow, this is terrible. And the thing is,
Mhm.
as soon as you know it's AI, you're just going to look at it like
You're turned
worthless.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like somebody drew it. And another episode, we should talk about my daughter being a model, like the experiences I watched her go through as a teenager, all over Europe. Like we'd go into these agencies, they come out with the measuring tape. She was so thin, they literally would have had to like surgically cut off her rear end to take off another inch in the hips. And it's like, when you really see the inner workings of that, and they want pubescent
Wow.
girls, like this is fashion, like you get to be over 20 or 18, you start to fill out where you're not pre-pubescent, and now that's too big, so it's all about starving yourself. It really is sick, and I'm proud of my daughter because she refused to do it, and she was lucky. She could eat whatever she wanted, and but her natural frame is very, very thin. But oh my, if you would have seen how thin she was, and then for that not to be enough. And then when you do go to some of the castings and you see these girls come in, when you see a cattle call, like they are giraffes. They are 6'1", they're 14, and they are 98 pounds. And you're just
Wow.
like, oh my God. And like, this is like the standard of what they're using. And I think maybe it's changing. I don't know. They kind of like change so much that like if you're blonde and blue-eyed, like they don't want you. They only wanted my daughter. She like dyed her hair blue or did some crazy, she would be like the token, crazy looking one. So I don't know. It's a lot. It's
Wow,
a
I
lot
think
to
you
keep
need
up with.
like, yeah, going through that, or just like working as a model, especially in that world when it's like high fashion and they expect things
Hmm.
like that. I mean, oh my gosh, I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope, is
when
she
you're
still
when
doing
you're
it, or
at
is
that
she?
age too. No, she hates it. And I mean,
Okay.
I'm sure she's not done forever, but she's always hated it. And I'm like, suck it up for the money, during certain jobs. But yeah, what last story I'll tell, she once said to me, oh, I booked this job in Texas, and it's for some makeup brand, Mary Kay. Like she'd never heard of Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Oh,
That's hilarious. But I flew with her because it was like during COVID and she was so afraid. And it was just, yeah, it was weird times, her last kind of 4 years in the industry. It was a lot of COVID stuff. And they put her in dangerous situations, go to this apartment downtown LA, like work through all the scary people on the streets and go into like a photographer man's apartment and change your clothes in his bathroom. And she would just be panicking, texting me, I don't feel safe. And I'm like, you don't ever have to do anything, that you
no.
don't feel safe. But the agencies should be more protective. And not that they all are like that, but they certainly weren't doing as much as I thought they should do to make sure she's
Wow.
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
scary.
it
But
really
I think
is.
But I think now with this AI, back to the AI
Yeah.
models, first of all, I mean, the big threat also is that other people are going to be out of work, of course.
Yeah.
And
Again, right?
yeah, and I think for you also as a makeup artist, when you can
Yeah.
just put the makeup on afterwards, no one need to have makeup on in real time.
True.
You can
Yeah.
just add it. You just do a photo shoot if you even do that, and then you just add the makeup
Totally.
like that. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
and
know.
that hasn't been my thing in a long, long time. I'm more about my product line and I do still work on women. I do a lot of events and now it's really shifting into my podcasts and my book and all of my other stuff. I'm even doing like coaching for women to connect with what their real mission is. I have like a total gift for discernment, so I can pick it up. And I like to help women just get aligned with the thing that God's put inside of them to do. Like, what yours is. Everyone is like programmed to have something, and people are just lost and they need guidance. So I'm going to do my
Oh,
part. Yeah.
that's amazing. So
Thank
tell
you.
everyone where they can find your podcast. And I am going to be on your podcast because we are
Yes.
shooting a second
Next.
part after this.
Woo! I
So
know. I'm so
everyone can see
excited.
that. So where can we find your podcast? I will leave a link below as well. What's the
Yeah,
name
my
of your
podcast
podcast?
is everywhere, Spotify, Apple, all of the platforms, and it's called Beauty Revival. So I'm super excited about that. My website is mbyork.com, and my podcast is right at the top of my website too, as well as my coaching stuff that I do and the products that we talked about today, which we are giving money to you of anything that's sold for all of your legal stuff. Like, I can't even imagine what you've had to spend. And that's an absolute, I already told you that. So if anyone does buy any of my products, we are supporting Shasti with what she's been through. We're blessing her with just
Oh my
money to go
God.
get a spa
You
day.
are the sweetest.
Seriously. No, it's true. You
Thank
need
you.
you
I
need to
feel
take
like
care of you.
people like you are very rare to find. I have to say that too, because we've been like, when did we speak last time? Was it in 2024?
It was
No, it
this
was,
year,
yeah,
but it
but
was February,
it's a
end of
long
February.
time ago. And I see you, I mean, we email each other and you pop up in my comment section sometimes on
Yeah.
YouTube as well. And it really warms my heart. You're just so
Well, you
amazing.
always have such interesting perspectives and you always, yeah, you see, you tie it together so well. You're really smart. I was like, you could have been like a doctor, whatever. Like, you
I
are
don't
really
think so,
smart.
but
You
thank
are,
you.
because you could be a great attorney, a great attorney. Oh my gosh. Because you just keep plowing forward. You're like, You just keep calling out all the lies. So that's a gift. It is.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you
yeah.
so much, Mary
Well,
Beth.
we all love you. I'm speaking for all of your followers. I always see it in the comments and all the ones that I met through you. They're amazing people. You have the nicest, oh my
I
gosh,
do have the
the
nicest people on my
nicest
channels. I
women.
know. I know.
Amazing. And they love you. Whenever I get on the phone with one about an order or something, we're always like, isn't Chastity amazing? And yeah, we're in love with you.
I
So,
do feel like this community is just so uplifting and so
mhm.
amazing. And, there's so much support from other women. It really gives
Yeah.
me so much, strength and,
Because it's
drive
also
to,
rare. Like, people are really starving for that in society. So you're
yeah.
filling the void. Yeah. So
Oh,
thank you.
thank you so much, Mary Beth. I'll see you over at your podcast.
Yes.
So I
On
will
to
leave a
Beauty
link to
Revival.
that. And I will leave a link to your website, to your product. So
Thank
everyone
you
that's
so
interested in
much.
that can find out
All
everything
right.
there. And yeah, let's roll.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Mary Beth for doing this again. I hope you learned something and got inspired by her. And let me know in the comment section what you think if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one.
Yeah, we
Bye.
flawsome talk.